You know, my therapist and I discussed self-care today. I don't think this is what she had in mind. Hi, hey, I'm Morgan, and it's been a while since I could hold my head up high. It's been a while. And that's for a slew of reasons. We're not gonna get into that today. We don't have time to unpack all of that, but I've been on like a semi-hiatus from the world and the internet because I've needed to for self-care. I couldn't ignore this. And I just looked at Ian and I said, I need to make this a video. And he said, go for it. I was on Twitter for my 0.2 seconds of the day, and I saw my friend, my dear sweet friend Nicole from Who Picked This Book, reviewed Kissing the Coronavirus, which is an erotic book about a woman who falls in love with the coronavirus. I can't make this shit up. I want to read this goddamn book and see what it's about. I'm gonna read this horrible ass shit that I can't imagine being good. What if I rate it 5 stars? What if it's the best thing I've ever read in my entire life? I don't think it will be, but it also could be. That's scary to think about. Oh, it's only 16 pages long. I've already paid the 99 cents. At this point, I've got skin in the game. I've got to do a video on it. Is she just gonna fuck like the... Okay.
I have a lot of questions and it won't be answered till you read it.
First off, Ian, would you like to see this cover?
What the fuck?
Why you be looking like hot Shrek? You do be kind of vibing though.
With who? The CDC?
CDC, more like cum drizzling cock.
There you go.
She was supposed to cure the coronavirus. You were the chosen one. It said you would destroy the coronavirus, not fuck it. All right. Here we go. It's about a doctor named Alexa Ashingtonford who's part of a crack team of scientists to cure coronavirus, and instead she fucks it. If this bitch masturbates with a test tube, I swear to God. Her perfectly pink manicured nails. I don't think you should have manicured nails if you're a scientist. I feel like that is a safety concern. The coronavirus. Despite the devastation the virus was causing across the globe, Alexa felt a rush of excitement every time she picked up the corona sample, like a pulsating erect penis, desperate to unleash its devastation on anyone who touched it. Is this bitch about to create a physical form of the coronavirus that's just a man with a giant cock? It had been so long since Alexa had been with a man that the virus was the only thing she could get near which gave her any sort of thrill. The tickle in her knickers when she worked with the sample was the only sexual release she had experienced since the virus had unleashed hell and taken its hold on the world, and now she held it in her hand. Gripped it tight. Imagine what she could do with it. This bitch is about to fuck a test tube. She rubbed her hand over her breast, her nipple hardening like a Tic Tac. Imagine how she would feel if she touched herself with it. Pretty great, Alexa thought. Pretty great indeedly. Alexa lowered the test tube and unbuttoned the bottom 2 poppers on her lap coat. Pop, pop. Bitch is about to fuck a test. I didn't know. The bubbling, creamy liquid sloshed against the inside of the tube. It fizzed up, and Alexa swore she could feel the glass expanding, swelling up and down as she shook the tube. A shock of electricity coursed through her veins, eventually stopping as it reached her vagina. It was like she'd sat on a battery, but Alexa knew it could feel better. Much better. Alexa pulled down her lab pants and pulled her panties to the side. What? Her pussy so wet that the lace glided across her skin like a fat man on a water slide. She lowered the test tube.
Who let this woman in the hospital?
Who gave this woman this job?
And I'm sorry, did it say doctor pants? Or lab pants?
Her lab pants. She pulled down her lab pants. She twisted the test tube in her grip, ready to push it inside. She'd done this with so many men who didn't know how to control their own flailing cocks, like they'd had minds of their own and required guidance. Alexa Alexa tightened her grip on the tube. She imagined it had veins pumping blood to keep it hard for her. She thought about the power. Dr. Ashingtonford, would you mind cataloging these new test samples? Shit.
There's someone else in the lab with me. The 8 other people are standing like, could you not? Could you put your lab pants back?
Could you please pull your lab pants up? We're professionals. Alexa had realized that her boss, Dr. Girdlechund, had walked back into the lab. Thankfully, her back had been to the door, or else Dr. Girdlechund would have seen everything. And that, ... kind of gave Alexa a little rush, too. Not that she liked Dr. Girdlechund. Alright, she liked big, muscular men who looked like Greek statues, except with huge cocks rather than small ones. She also loved fucking test tubes. So deprived of the feeling of a hot man dog inside her lubricated pussy bun. Lubricated pussy bun is what I've just read in the year of our Lord 2020. Let it be known, Ian and I also had hot dogs for dinner tonight. Just let that be known. So she's talking about how she considered asking her boss if he'd be interested in a quick bit of sex to help her get over her infatuation so she could get on with searching for a cure. But she just said she wasn't attracted to him and she was attracted to big men with giant cocks and test tubes. Test pubes. She had a grudge against this doctor. She thought about hate fucking him. Her pride was more important than a bit of slap and tickle.
This is the horniest woman who's ever existed.
And it's not even like hot horny.
No, she's just gross horny. Rain's outside and she goes, me too.
Oh god, I wish it were me. Just a slick piece of wet pavement. She's got that wet pavement pussy. Bring an umbrella and a jacket. That's some wet ass pavement. This doctor is one of Ohio's top biochemical neuroviral epidemiologists. So, you know, repping my home state. So it's 4 doctors. Dr. Girdlechund, Dr. Ashingtonford, Dr. J, and Dr. Wobble. That's the task force that started to find the cure, and then the virus spread. Then slowly the virus had spread across the globe, Asia, Europe, some other places. And the virus began to infect the lab. So Dr. J and Dr. Wobble died of coronavirus, and now it's just Girdlechund and Ashingtonford. So determined, in fact, that he had stopped listening to reason, and because Alexa had huge boobies, a thick ass, and nice legs, he would sometimes overlook her. She couldn't get over that mustache. She loved beards, and a mustache was only the start of a beard. Like micro penises are just the start of real penises. You need the rest of it for it to be truly meaningful. Okay, well, how about we don't drag people with micro penises today? Feels like a weird time to do it while she's about to fuck a test tube, don't you think? I mean, if you're fucking test tubes, you don't get to judge the size of anyone's dick because a test tube is getting you off. Alexa placed the sample back on her workbench and calmly refastened the buttons on her lab coat. Her lab pants are still off though. The doctor's like, I've told you to call me Bob. We practically spend all day and night here. We may as well get friendly. If only he had a beard and was taller and had a big cock and was handsome and made her wet like COVID-19. Imagine, like, listen, I'm gonna say it. COVID-19 does not have big dick energy.
No.
COVID-19 has some tiny peen energy. COVID-19 is the type of guy with a small peen to write really mean poetry and pop punk songs about his ex-girlfriend.
Yes, 100%.
Am I saying that COVID-19 is like my ex? Sure am. She had been working with Dr. Girdlechund and the others before they died on the cure for the virus for weeks, and now finally there was a slim chance that they may have found the cure, and Alexa would finally know what it felt like to grasp a cock in her hands again. Okay. All she's thinking about is like, I gotta cure this pandemic so I can get the dick down. It's like, man,
not even.
To replicate results against an original sample, any excuse to hold that powerful beast in her hands once again. She didn't need to be asked twice. Alexa took the creamy, bubbling COVID-19. Why is it creamy and why is it bubbling? Toil and trouble, am I right, ladies? Holding it close to her quivering breasts as she returned to the samplometer.
Samplometer.
She ran the sample, in the samplometer. She opened the cabinet containing the trial vaccines and took out a test tube containing a bright blue liquid. The cure. She knew there wasn't enough COVID-19. She just knew it. And she decided, because she knew it, that she'd have to take action. Alexa opened the test tube filled with the trial vaccine. She opened the tube filled with the coronavirus sample. Saying pop, I figured doing a pop sound was better.
Yeah.
The creamy liquid bubbled and popped like a fresh bowl of Rice Krispies. Snack, crackle, pop. Even the sound of the virus made her ovaries clash together like cymbals. Slowly, 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 Alexa raised the sample of COVID-19 so the virus neared the edge of the test tube. She only needed to add a drop. She was one of the best scientists around. Plop. There. Alexa had done it. She replaced the lids. I'm so sorry if you have one of those Amazon Echoes, by the way, and you're listening to this just like out in the open, like, hey mom, this girl's talking about fucking a test tube. Hi everyone's mom. They're talking about how Dr. Girdle returned to the lab carrying boxes of medical supplies. They couldn't sleep, they're sleep deprived, they have lives to save. How are the new samples, he asked. Alexa couldn't hide her smile. All perfect. Dr. Girdlechin's eyes widened. Seriously? Yes. Well then, we can do it. We can start the trial. The test trial of the coronavirus vaccine, the cure. Get with the program. Before we can fuck the virus, we have to cure it. They're skipping approval from the medical council. Alexa's heart fluttered like it had done the time she'd fucked the farmer's cross-eyed son and uncrossed his eyes.
What?
I'm sorry. I gotta read.
The longest book ever.
This is the longest book I've ever read. I paid 99 cents of my hard-earned coffee coin. Dr. Girdlechin dropped the box and marched over to the vaccine cabinet. He threw open the door and grabbed the vaccine. The very same vaccine Alexa had added an extra drop of COVID-19 to. I'll do it, he said. Alexa gasped. Doctor, no. Alexa, please, call me Bob. Alexa gasped. Bob, no! He popped the lid off the test tube. He dipped the needle into the vaccine, drew the blue liquid into the liquid holding part of the syringe. That's exactly what it says.
The liquid holding part of the syringe? The syringe?
You mean the whole syringe?
The whole
Bob, you can't, said Alexa, grabbing his bicep. It was so small, so weak. Alexa, I can, and I will. I have to. You might die. Better me than some helpless children. Rolls at the sleeve of his arm. I have to do this, Alexa. I didn't tell you this before, but I have the coronavirus. He's full of that creamy, bubbling liquid. Alexa gasped again, then covered her mouth as she realized she and Dr. Girdlechin were not practicing social distancing etiquette. So, this is my only option. Dr. Ashingtonford, if the trial doesn't work, it has been an honor working with you. Alexa nodded and stepped back 2 meters. Is that the same as 6 feet? Metric system people, people not American and are obviously smarter than us, is 2 meters the equivalent of 6 feet?
1 meter is only 3 feet. So
2 meters is
2
6
meters
feet.
is. I don't think they're doctors, so.
No, she's calling him doctor.
No, I don't think they're doctors.
He's like, call me Bob. I'm not actually a doctor.
I don't think
She's wearing a lab coat and lab pants. She'd never seen him this way before. So brave, so selfless. Maybe she had misjudged him. Maybe. Fell to the floor. Doctor! Exclaimed Alexa with panic-driven fear. No! He yelled. Don't come any closer. I have it under control. For some reason, the lights flashed. Wind whipped around the lab, lashing Alexa's hair back and forth and shaking her ample breasts. There was lots of sound and shaking, and Alexa's heart hammered harder than the time she was hammered by the carpet fitter when he came to fit carpets in her country manner. Alexa edged back. She edging? Pushing back until her back pushed back against the wall. Wait, what? Alexa edged back. Pushing back until her back pushed back against the wall.
Back, got it.
Back it up. If I back it up, is it fat enough? If I throw it back, is it fast enough? He crawled back around the workspace, the wind whipped and the lights flashed. Then, silence. Bob? Who is Bob? Came a voice. Alexa blinked.
The
Who?
coronavirus infect
What?
took him over.
Is this man possessed by the coronavirus?
Yes.
Bob, uttered Alexa. What do you mean? I know, no, Bob. A hand clamped down on the workspace. It looked like a normal hand, except it was green. Dr. Girdlechand, what happened to your hand? Wailed Alexa. I don't know who that is, came a bellowing bellow, which rattled the beakers and tinkled the tubes around the lab. A bellowing bellow.
Tinkled the tubes.
Listen, I don't want to have kids, so I need to get my tubes tinkled. Her heart ravaging in the inside of her chest. She took tiny steps towards Dr. Girdlechand, her breaths short and sharp. A second hand slammed down on the surface, and Alexa squealed. There was a low groan, almost like a growl, which deepened and became a roar, a guttural, animalistic roar, so strong and powerful it made Alexa's clitoris judder with anticipation. Then, one detail at a time, Dr. Girdlechand stood from behind the workspace to reveal himself, his strong brow, piercing blue eyes, supple lips, a wide jaw like the trunk of a car, bulky, thick shoulders, a flat stomach, a bulge in his trousers the size of a medium-length python, a large boulder the size of a small boulder, legs, and presumably feet, but Alexa couldn't see those behind the desk. His thighs had obliterated his pants, muscle poking out like a cheeky kitten.
So this is...
What the fuck does that mean?
This is just the Hulk. Just written for coronavirus, right?
I was thinking Shrek. His pectoral muscles were so large and toned that they practically hummed. The tip of his penis winked out above his belt line, and Alexa was positive he wasn't even erect. She couldn't stop staring. And it was green.
No shit.
And he was covered in small green bumps, which sciencey people like Alexa called spike proteins. Dr. Girdlechand? Asked Alexa. Is that you? He shook his head. Are you in there, Dr. Girdlechand? Bob? No, said the enormous green man. He was at least a meter taller than Dr. Girdlechand had been, and almost twice as wide, and his cock twice as python-y. Who are you? Asked Alexa. I don't know. Do you know who you are? I think so, he said. Then who are you? I don't know.
Who
Do
are
you
you?
know who you are?
I don't think so.
Are you the virus? Yes, he said. Your coronavirus? COVID-19? Yes. What happened to Dr. Girdlechand? I consumed him. Alexa wasn't sure what she felt. It wasn't fear. It wasn't anguish. It was intrigue. Perhaps a little excitement. Don't come any closer! It's fine, he said softly. I can sense that you're immune. Immune to the virus? To you? Yes. You're asymptomatic. You had the virus without even knowing. Does that mean Dr. Girdlechand was infected because of me? Suddenly a strong chonk of a finger rubbed across Alexa's cheek. The virus had wiped it away for her. He had been strong, but soft, assertive yet caring. Alexa's clitoris floundered. The virus opened his hand, and Alexa nestled her cheek into it. It was like laying on a warm, welcoming pillow, soft and strong, dreamy and happy. Some other nice things she couldn't even describe. He's gone. I'm here now. Wait. She nodded and shuffled towards him. He opened up his body, allowing Alexa to be engulfed in his skin and muscles. She felt his convulsing member against her waist. It was so long and warm and fat, like an arm without the bones. There was something about being wrapped in his arms. All three of them. I added that part. That one wasn't in there.
It should be, though.
She looked up at him. His eyes were striking, like a goat's, but without the sideways pupils.
What?
She couldn't look away, and they seemed to be growing bigger, wider, sexier. But Alexa suddenly realized they weren't getting bigger. They were getting closer. His lips, so close she could taste them. His tongue, so soft and hot, like a chunk of microwave fish sloshing around inside her mouth. Oh, are they kissing now? A big hand grabbed at her even bigger breast, clinging on like he was climbing a mountain.
This
COVID.
guy's giant and her boobs are still bigger than
Yeah, what the fuck? COVID tore at her lab coat, revealing her perfectly round, perfect breasts.
Perfect.
They're perfect. Don't at me and my abnormal tits. He lowered his neck and chewed away her bra. Was it one of those candy ones? Nice. He's breaking into your home. He's infecting your loved ones. He's eating your bras. Her breasts were unleashed. They bounced around like water balloons glistening in the summer sun. She had nice nipples. If she goes for a run, she's knocking herself the fuck out.
She's killed 12 people.
COVID licked Alexa up and down because she hasn't had her lab pants on this whole time. She never put her lab pants back on. She snatched at his pants, ripping what remained of them away and releasing his beast of a cock. It swelled like a balloon being filled with helium, rising up, standing to command, begging for her to take it in her hands. She grabbed it and began to stroke it up and down. You know, classic hand job. She took him deep into her mouth, her throat stretching as he continued to grow, slobbering all over it and grunting with appreciation. Then he pulled it out, and it made a popping sound. And he spun her over, clamping his hands down on her ass, spreading her cheeks wide so he could thrust his warbling member deep into her pocket of ecstasy. Okay, listen, so she's fucking the coronavirus. We can just say pussy, right? We don't have to say all that. Let this be a lesson to all of you that you always keep a backup battery if you're gonna read coronavirus erotica. Is it a portal? Is it a portal to another dimension? Why is it warbling?
Nothing physical should be warbling.
No, absolutely not. He spread her ass cheeks. So is her pocket of ecstasy her asshole or her pussy? You don't have to spread ass cheeks to go into the pussy from behind. I'm not gonna demonstrate, but you don't have to do that. You know why? Because they're separate entities. So's this warbling dick. If anyone's dick ever warbled at me, I'd run. It was like an earthquake had hit the lab. COVID thrust and thrust and thrust, and all Alexa could do was grab hold of the table legs and try not to crack her teeth on the floor as she lay there, open-mouthed, gasping, desperate to cry out in pleasure, but not able to make a single sound. First her pocket of ecstasy, but now her pussy tightened around COVID's cock, and his grunting made it tighten. If I ever wanted to be monetized on this damn hell site, this is stopping it for sure. His grunting made it tighten further. She never experienced anything like it, and as she came, her entire body spasmed, and she writhed around like a bumble ball with no off switch. What is a bumble ball? A firm hand cracked against her ass and COVID grunted like a thunderclap. He filled her with love lotion. This bitch is pregnant with the coronavirus. This bitch is gonna give birth to a test tube. Full circle. Oozed out instantly and spread right across the floor. That will without a doubt, thought Alexa, take a long time to clean up. She'd just been fucked like she'd never been fucked before. She felt amazing. She felt alive. She felt... What was this feeling? A warmth both inside and out. As COVID wrapped her up in his arms like she was the filling in a burrito, she realized that she never wanted to be apart from him. She wanted to spend eternity encased in his warmthing warmth. In his warming warmth. His I can't fucking read. Was this love? She never felt it before. Lust, absolutely. But love? Never. Was it? Was it? She looked up into COVID's eyes and he stared right back. Her heart raced. Sweat poured from her pores. He had undoubtedly taken her breath away. Alexa and COVID remained in their embracing embrace. Gone were Alexa's worries. No more did she mourn Dr. Girdlechind. Missing was her aching to be savaged vaginally. Oh, so she's not horny anymore. She's not yearning to be fucked. She had listened to her heart and vagina and allowed herself to succumb to COVID's charm. She had embraced love. She lay still and listened to COVID's heart, and she closed her eyes and she rested and rested and that's it. And it ends with and with an M dash. So I think, are we to assume she died? She was fucked so hard by coronavirus that she died. So, this was awful. It's getting 1 star on Goodreads. Yes, it's on Goodreads. Yes, it's gonna count towards my Goodreads goal because I just suffered through that for you, for the sake of content. So thanks to Nicole from Who Picked This Book for tweeting about this, and thanks for everyone for tweeting about this because it's all I saw. All I saw was some stupid Twitter drama and then people talking about kissing coronavirus. What's the phrase I'm looking for? Thanks, I hate it. I'm assuming it's satirical and it's meant to be like a meme, but also like how I can't be sure. Like this could be like this is someone's kink. It's not my kink, but it could be someone's. Thank you for enduring that with me. Ian, do you have any final words before I send off?
I hate it.
Yeah. This isn't like me coming back to booktube or anything like that. I'm still kind of in my little hiatus hole. I just wanted to do something a little silly and read this fucking shit. If you want to like this video, subscribe to my channel, do all that stuff, you're more than welcome to do so. I upload... My name is Morgan. This is MorgyyReads. I hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Don't read this shit, but happy reading. They don't even have to read it. I told them everything. I read this so you don't have to. You're welcome. Goodbye.